Hello everyone. We are back with another session for Unit 1, Units and Measurement, NCERT Physics Grade 11 syllabus. What we have done previously, units and system of units, different units of measurement, dimensional analysis, and the applications of dimensional analysis. If you want to learn about all these things, please check the previous videos. Now, what we will learn in this video? We will learn about accuracy and precision, types of errors, absolute, relative, and percentage error. So these are the things that we will learn. Don't worry, they are very easy. Start with recapping of what we have studied. Okay, the topic studied: unit. What is a unit? It is the chosen standard of measurement of a quantity which has essentially the same nature as that of the quantity. Okay, then what were the advantages of SI? It is rational, metric, coherent, and closely related to CGS system. Now, the practical units of measurement that we studied: astronomical unit, the average distance between the center of Earth and center of Sun, and the value was 1.496 into 10 to the power of 11 meters. Then light year, the distance traveled by light in 1 year, that is 9.46 into 10 to the power of 15 meters. And the last thing was parsec, and it was equal to 3.084 into 10 to the power of 16 meters. Actually, parsec was the radius of that arc having a length of 1 astronomical unit and subtending an angle of 1 second. We also studied about the applications of dimensional analysis to check the correctness of an equation, to derive a formula, and to convert from one system of units to another. Also, we studied about the limitations of dimensional analysis, that this method cannot be used to find the exact form of relation, no information about dimensionless constants, and we cannot derive the formula containing trigonometrical functions and log functions. This is all we studied in the previous videos. Do check them out if you haven't seen them. Now, let's start the topic: accuracy and precision. First of all, what is this accuracy? So accuracy is the measure of how close the measured value is to the true value. Okay, so this is the how it is close to the true value. Okay, now the next thing is called as precision. It is a measure of the resolution or limit of quantity of measurement of the quantity. A bit confused? Don't worry, we have covered everything for you people. Let's take an example. So the true value of mass of an object is 30.346 kg. Now you need to understand, more are the digits after decimal, more precise is the value. So four students conducted experiments to find out the following result for the mass of the body. Okay, and we are making a graph of accuracy and precision so that you understand it better. So the first student, called A, he obtained the mass as 27 kg. Now this 27 is neither close to the answer or nor it is giving more information, because there are less number of digits. So it is having low accuracy. Why? Because not close to true value. Low precision because low resolution. Okay, now I hope this diagram clears everything. Okay, okay, let's move to the next case. For student B, it was 29 kg. Now 29 is close to the answer, that is 30.346. Okay, so it is having high accuracy but low precision. That's why here it is high accuracy. Okay, x-axis is accuracy, so it is more accurate but less precise. For C student, it is 28.25. Now it is not close to the answer, but it is more detailed because it is having these two decimal points. So This is low on accuracy but high on precision. And the last one, 30.325. Now this is the nearest in both the terms, accuracy as well as precision. So I hope now the topic of accuracy and precision is clear to you. Let's move forward. The thing is, what is an error? So error is the uncertainty in measurement, or we can say the difference between the true value and the observed value. The true value is the value of that thing that you already know that it is. But when you are performing an experiment and what you are getting as a result is the observed value. So error is true value minus observed value. Okay, there are different types of errors. The first one, systematic error. Error which tends to be in one direction, either positive or negative. It means that when you will perform experiments, if the error is systematic, it will always come out to be positive or negative. It won't fluctuate. Let's understand the different types of systematic error. So the first one, instrumental error. The error due to imperfect design or manufacture or calibration of the instrument. Example, zero error. Now let us see this device. Here the scale is broken, and if I'm taking the reading from this point to this point, this is not 20. Okay, so this is an instrumental error. So what should we do? We should select better instrument. Now a few of you might be thinking that I can start my reading from here to here. That is a stopgap arrangement, not the particular one. We need for once and for all the correct thing. So for that it's better to select better instruments. The second one, personal or observational error. The error due to personal biasing of the observer. Example is parallax. Now, in this figure, I hope it is clear to everyone that B is the person who is looking directly. So, getting the proper image as compared to A or C. Because A or C are suffering from the error called as parallax. So, for A, the image of this object is at this position, and for C, it is at this position. By the way, neither of them is a correct value. How this can be removed? By removing personal bias. Continuing further, in systematic errors, the third one, error due to external causes. The error due to external factors like temperature, pressure. For example, expansion of a scale due to increase in temperature. Now you can see first case with temperature T naught, the length was L naught. Now when the temperature increased, the length also increased. Now if I'm using the same scale at two different temperatures, my answer will vary. So how I can correct it? By applying suitable correction. The last systematic error, imperfection in experimental techniques. Now this cannot be eliminated. We know the error, we know its nature, but we cannot eliminate it. For example, effect on weighing due to buoyancy. The thermometer under armpit always show lower body temperature as shown in the figure. Let's move to the second type of error, which is called as random error. Now random error, those error which occur irregularly. That means sometimes they may be positive, sometimes they be negative, sometimes they may give big values, sometimes they give small values, and they may arise due to random and unpredictable fluctuations in experimental conditions or personal error also. For example, in this, sometimes children will take a reading of 25, sometimes they will take 26. So, how can we correct it? By repeating the observation a large number of times and taking the mean of all observations. The last error in different types of error is least count error. It is the error associated with the resolution of the instrument. Now, which scale will you prefer? I will definitely prefer the second scale because it has more resolution. It will give a more precise value. So how can I eliminate or correct the least count error by using instrument of higher precision and by improving the experimental techniques. Okay, now we were doing the types of error. So whatever I taught you, the different types of systematic errors, it is summarized in this table. Now let us move to the next topic: absolute error, relative error, and percentage error. So the first is absolute error. It is the magnitude of the difference between the true value and the individual measured value of the quantity. Okay, so let us suppose I have a physical quantity which is measured n times, and the measured values are a1, a2, a3 up to an. So the true value will be the sum of all the values divided by the total number of values. That means a1 plus a2 plus a3 up to an divided by n. Okay, now the absolute error for first observation will be delta a1, this is its representation, and it is equal to the mean, arithmetic mean, or the true value minus the first observation. Similarly, for second, delta a2 is equal to the am minus of a2, and so on. Now they can be both positive and negative. Mean absolute error, it is the arithmetic mean of magnitude of absolute errors. Here the key is we only take the positive values. So delta A mean is equal to delta A1 plus delta A2 up to delta N divided by N. Then it is relative error. It is the ratio of mean absolute error to the mean value of the quantity measured. That is mean absolute error delta AM, that delta A mean divided by AM. Percentage error, it is relative error expressed in percentage. So this is mean absolute error by mean value into 100%, or delta A mean divided by AM into 100. Now you must be wondering, what was all this? Let me give you an example so that you understand it better. So we measure the period of oscillation of a simple pendulum. In successive measurements, the readings turn out to be 2.63 second, 2.56 second, 2.42 second, 2.71 second, and 2.80 second. Calculate the absolute errors, relative error, or the percentage error, and you can find both also. So first of all, let's find the mean. How can I do that? Sum of all the 5 readings and divided by 5. On solving, I get 2.62. That is the mean value or true value for me now. Okay, so the absolute error in first one, that is delta t1, is 2.62, which was my true value as I found out, minus the first observation. I got minus of 0.01 seconds. Then the second one, similarly, I got 0.06 seconds. Third one, 0.20 seconds. Fourth one, minus of 0.09 seconds. Fifth one, minus of 0.18 seconds. Now the mean absolute error, as I said, the mod or magnitude of all divided by the total number. As I told you, we don't take the negative signs, so we just took all in positive, added them, and then divided by 5. I got 0.11 seconds. I want to find out the relative error. So it is delta t by t, which is 0.11 by 2.62, which will give me 0.04. Okay, percentage error, this 0.04 into 100%, that is 4%. So now I hope you have understood. So let's do the closure of, and let's revise what we studied. Topic studied: error. It is the uncertainty in measurement, or we can say difference between true value and observed value. Okay, then we studied about the accuracy part. Accuracy, it is the measure of how close the measured value is to the true value. Then what is precision? It is a measure of the resolution of a measurement of the quantity. Then mean error, that is a1 plus a2 up to an divided by n. Mean absolute error, delta a1 plus delta a2 plus delta a3 mod of all divided by n, that is only positive values we consider. Relative error, mean absolute error divided by mean value, and percentage error, mean absolute error divided by mean value into 100%. Also, we did this thing, the complete type of error thing. What are the different types in systematic? What are the different types, their examples, their correction? Okay, now we come to our last topic, that is the questions. The first one, two clocks are given, different readings are taken for 7 days. We are asked which one will you prefer. This is a very good question, very good question. And the second one, in an experiment the value of refractive index was found. Okay, find the most accurate value, mean absolute error, relative error, and percentage error. I will suggest you to pause the video, try the questions on your own, and when you have done, then play it again to check the answers. Here we go for the answers. So the first one, this clock question. Now you can see that these are the two clocks, clock 1 and clock 2, and the readings are taken for 7 days. And the readings were taken at 12. And these are the readings we got. Now the question is that if you are doing an experiment that requires precision, okay, that is the precise time interval measurement, which will you prefer? In order to do this, first of all, let's find out the range in the variation of two clocks. That means the difference between the highest value showed and the lowest value showed by the two clocks. So the range in variation, highest value for clock 1 is this one, and the lowest value for this clock is this one. So the difference between two is 162 seconds, which is quite a big variation. For clock 2, the highest value is 15, 10, 15, 24, and the lowest value is this one, and the difference is 31 seconds. So I will prefer the clock 2 because the readings have less variation and more precision. Now you may be a bit confused. You must be thinking that the values of clock 1 are closer to the actual time, that is 12. Okay, so you think you should be preferring this. But this error can be corrected manually in clock 2. Maybe when you started the reading, it was showing 10. Maybe it was showing 10. So this is what I can do if both the clocks are set up for the same time. That is, if both are showing the same time and then I take the readings, definitely the clock 2 will be more precise because it is having less variations. Let's move to our question number 2. Okay, these are the values. How many? 4 are there. First is find mean value. So sum of all divided by 4, which will give me 1.49. Second is mean absolute. So first is absolute error in measurement in first. That is 1.49 minus 1.54. That is minus of 0.05. Similarly doing for second, third and fourth. We will get these values. We want mean absolute error. Then what we will do? We will add all of these values and divide by 4. As I told you earlier, we don't take negative part here. So 0.045. Relative error will be mean absolute error divided by the mean value, which is 0.045 divided by 1.49, which is 0.03. And the last thing is percentage error, that is relative error into 100%. That will give me 0.03 into 100%, that is 3%. So this was the assignment. Now this is the acknowledgement. Thank you so much. Do come for the next video.